Alright guys, the fall garden is where it's at. So nice. This is cracking me up. Olivia planted a random little bean that she found in our old beans that we like glued to papers and stuff. And it's growing quite vigorously and has all these little pods. I don't know if it's some sort of like little cowpea or what, but it's going crazy. I've got a couple of cucumbers. There's one back there. These ones are going to be all ready probably in a day or two. Well, that one's ready back there. And there's another one back there. Here's some melons. And these I planted in the spring. Most of these I planted in the spring. The ones that are like big and taking off. And they just never really grew. But once the weather cooled down after summer peak, they took off, and it's so exciting. Look at these. Oh my goodness, I didn't realize those were there. They're so long. These are my either they're Chinese long beans or they're the Taiwan yard long beans. Let's see how long they get. And then I have another Kajari melon over here, and I've got a ton of these old-time Tennessee melons. Look at this. Oh, there's so many. It's so exciting. So these, oh man, that one's eaten. Like I said, these are all planted in the spring. This plant, it has so many babies and they just keep shriveling up and dying, and I've realized there's not really any male flowers. Maybe these ones, but the females have already bloomed, so they never get pollinated. So that's sad. But Licinia, I'm in love. It's so pretty. My corn, I planted this not too long ago because I tried to plant other corn and it died. I have only one glass gem corn that survived, so I don't know how that's gonna work. But I have a bunch of little orchard baby corn, I think it's called. They're little tiny corn on the cobs. And I've got some little tomatillos. I almost pulled these plants out because look, they were struggling, and I almost pulled them out. But I've got a couple tomatillos. And then these are all the more zinnias. Hopefully they'll grow. My pumpkins have gone insane. Still growing. I had a couple okra flowers bloom, which I planted my okra really late, but it's finally starting to grow. This one is getting infested with aphids, so we'll see what happens. But this one, I think this one has a lot of aphids too, but these two bloomed. So I'll get some okra. And then this is a squash plant. I probably put a seed in, I don't know, 2 months ago. I've only seen some babies. This is golden zucchini. And I planted all of these peas just kind of as an experiment, because it's still a little too hot for peas. But I thought, well, let them grow a little bit while it's hot, and then hopefully it'll cool down enough when they're bigger, but like when they're fruiting. But it might just be too hot because they're kind of struggling. But we'll see. Got thousands of basil plants. Each of them are getting their set of leaves, so we'll see how that goes. That one's pretty big. I'm really excited. I'm going to try and freeze dry a bunch of lemon basil. Oh, it smells so good. There's just basil everywhere. I think that's cilantro. I did plant some cilantro at some point. Oh, yeah. Yay. I'm getting some tomatoes now that the nights are cooling off a little bit. More tomatoes are actually fruiting. I've got a bunch of these ones. These are German lunchbox. They're supposed to be like a little egg size snacking tomato. And I've got a ton of these, which this is another plant that I was going to kind of pull a bunch of it out, but I didn't, and it just put on hundreds of baby tomatoes. So that's exciting. Be able to start harvest those soon. I picked a couple so far. More basil. This is all sweet basil. There's some starting down here. Oh, these peppers are going wild. I need to pick these. The plants look a little rough, and if anyone knows, maybe spider mites or something. I'm seeing some webbing in here, but like, see these fruit like have a giant bee. Sorry. Oh, what is that? It's flying weird. Some sort of bumblebee or carpenter bee? I don't know. Okay. Anyways, these are my Bikino peppers, and they're just looking rough. Like, all the peppers are brown or black, like this. So, not sure what is going on there. But there's so many peppers on there. And there's more. I guess all my peppers are looking like really rough. I haven't really like been back here a ton because it's all overgrown over here. So not sure if it's just they're crowded out or if there's some pest getting to them. My purple hyacinth beans are beautiful right now, and I'm getting lots of pods, which, if anyone knows, so I've read that they are poisonous, but then I've seen people say that they eat them, so I guess maybe they just have to be like boiled extra or something, or prepared a certain way, but I don't know. I'll probably never eat them just because, I don't know, but because I've heard they're poisonous, but they're really pretty, so I love having them and attract lots of bees. Anyways, that's most of it. I've got all my fall stuff that I put in, like, really growing now. This pumpkin patch has gotten a little out of hand. I've got a bunch of good-sized pumpkins coming. I have to jump my way through here. And look at this. Radishes. These ones, like, some of these I could pick already. They're looking so good. And then all my beets looking pretty awesome. Little radishes. So I think I did like 4 different varieties of beets. Oh, there's a bean. I put beans kind of randomly in throughout because it's supposed to help with the soil. So, and then this is all lettuce, kale, and I planted some spinach, but I don't think it worked out. Some baby lettuce back there. Look at how big these ones are. And it's funny because I planted these all at the same time. It's still a little too hot for lettuce, so this might be bitter. But I thought, well, let me jump start, and then I'll just kind of keep succession planting. Oh, look. What's on there? Tiny something. And then look at a tomato. What is this doing here? And I think this is the Merlot lettuce. It's so pretty. And then this, I don't know if it's the black-seeded Samson, if it looks like that. Or, oh, I did want to do one that was like Rouge de Hyver. Might be that. I don't know. I just did a bunch of mix and I threw it everywhere. So, what's that? Oh, that might be one of my potatoes. Maybe? I planted a ton of potatoes. Oh, another one. I think those are potatoes. I planted a ton of potatoes here, and some little, like, I don't know if it's like a mouse or something. I don't know. Came and dug a bunch out and chewed them up. So then I decided I'm just going to plant over it. And if they pop up, they pop up. So we'll see what happens. And then more basil, more peas. Doing pretty good. Here's my little clover patch. It's so funny because, you know, I pluck weeds out all the time, but I saw some clover and I read that they are good for the soil, so I left the little clover and they just grow crazy, which I've heard it's a really good like cover crop because they don't like grow tall really, but they grow thick and they're green and you can like step on them and mow them and they still come back. So anyways, these tiny tomatoes that popped up. Oh, and some basil. Oh, this is basil. I'm like, look behind this plant, there's basil. Yummy. Smells so good. This plant is weird. It's supposed to be my pineapple tomato, but it's growing these weird, just like red tomatoes. But when in the spring they were bigger. Now they're just tiny and they're ripening up. So I don't know. I should have probably just pulled it out because it's kind of a weird tomato. Oh well. But and this is quinoa, pink quinoa, and I have a couple. I was trying to plant them back here, but somehow I dropped a seed up here and it grew, of course. Isn't that funny how that happens? Like, when you don't want something to grow, it grows. And when you do, it struggles. Why is that? But I have so many radishes. They're looking real good. They're bulbing up, so. And look, basil. They're just everywhere. Apparently they just blew around. And look at this sunflower. It's like dying and falling, but it's so pretty. It just blooms and blooms and blooms. I love these. They're just the wild ones, but I let them grow. It attracts lots of bees and pollinators, and they always get infested with aphids, but I feel like the pests are more attracted to this, and they'll go to this instead of my other plants. It's kind of like a trap crop, I guess. I don't know. So that, climb out of my pumpkin patch, is my fall garden.